It seems that Democrats have their pennies in the bunch since the Supreme Court agreed with Texas on the redistricting map. Let's see how this ends. Let's get to it.
Breaking news in our Law and Justice lead, and a major update from the U.S. Supreme Court on that Texas redistricting case. You'll remember Republicans in the state, in an unusual mid-decade review, redrew the maps, the congressional maps, earlier this year. Let's get right to CNN Chief Supreme Court Analyst Joan Biskupic. Joan, what is the latest news from the U.S. Supreme Court?
Very big news, Jake, both politically and legally. The Supreme Court, the conservative majority, over the dissent of the three liberals, has said that Texas can use the map that it drew last summer to provide potentially 5 new districts that could flip Republican and enhance the Republican majority in the U.S. House. And what they said is that a special U.S. District Court panel that had invalidated this map, saying it was drawn on unconstitutional racial lines, that Texas had actually divided people up by race. This district court had said that, and Texas had come up here and appealed it, backed by the Trump administration. Today, the Supreme Court majority said no, that this map deserved more deference from the district court. The district court should have taken into account a presumption of legislative good faith. That's been a standard that Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Samuel Alito have been really pushing over the years, to sort of let states do what they want to do, even if there could be a cloud of racial division there. So you had the conservative majority essentially now locking in this new Texas map that you remember has triggered all this off-year redistricting throughout the country, and at the goading of President Trump to shore up his majority. Let me tell you a little bit about what the liberal dissenters said had.
Before I let her talk about the liberal dissenters, really and truly, do we even care? Because I don't think that they're thinking this through. And here's why I say that. When you have states like Texas, like Democrats really don't have chances or good chances of winning in Texas, like winning like the electoral college that Texas have and stuff like that. Okay. When you see that they're doing things like this, what do you think is going to happen in strong Democratic states? They're going to do the same thing. I agree with the conservative court. Allow states to do what they want to do. Because all this is going to do is going to have strong Democratic states like California redistrict lines or do redistricting in their favor. Possibly even in New York, where, downstate New York is mainly Democrat or mainly blue, but upstate New York is red. But hey, guess what? There are more people in downstate than there are upstate. What's going to happen? Redistricting. Now you have that it's going to be even more blue. So I understand what the Republicans are trying to do. They're trying to be slick about things. And of course, people are going to say, oh, it's racist. No, it's not. They just want their side to win. It's just like in football. When you have a team that got more salary cap room, they're going to make better moves. And this is all they're doing. But it could backfire. Let's hear what else you got to say.
Happened here. Justice Kagan, writing on behalf of herself and Sonia Sotomayor and Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, pointed to the fact that a district court had held 9 days of hearing, combed through thousands of pages of testimony about what had gone on in Texas, and this district court had also put a lot of attention on a letter from the Office of Civil Rights in the Trump administration that had pushed the Texas legislature to draw along racial lines. And the district court had found that indeed that this had been an unconstitutional racial gerrymander, that it wasn't drawn just on political lines, which, Jake, is allowed under the Constitution. You can divide people up based on their politics, but you cannot divide people up based on their race. And that's what the district court said had done there. And let me just tell you what Justice Elena Kagan said in dissent about that. What basis does the majority have to thus substitute its understanding of the direct evidence for the district courts? The short answer is it has none. So
I agree. If this is done, to draw, between racial lines and stuff like that, then, it's a little bit iffy now. Of course, they're going to say, no, it's not. It's just politics. And it could be. I could be wrong. Okay? I feel that it is just politics. But it could be, they drawing up against racial lines because they want their side to win. And the thing that people don't really think about is that they like to draw lines because they know that these people that will vote for them, some of them may not really be as informed as others because, as Trump has said, he loves the uneducated.
We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
And we see what happens. So, hey, look, I'm okay with it. All right. Whatever happens, happens. Tell me in the comment section if you're okay with it. Tell me in the comment section if you're pissed off about this right here. If you think it's going to open the floodgates. I really want to hear from you because you know why? You guys are special. And I want to take this time to thank you so much for watching this video up to this point because your time is valuable. And I know it. And I really appreciate that you spending it with me because you could watch anybody. You didn't have to click, but you clicked and you stayed. Thank you so much. If you could do me a favor and just like the video, make some comments and subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed. All that good stuff will help as I continue to grow on this YouTube platform. Thank you for helping me get over 5,000 subscribers. I really appreciate you. Let's hear what else you have to say.
This is the end of the line for this Texas map. It can be used going forward now for the midterm elections, Jake.
All right, Joan Biskupik, thanks so much. Let's bring in CNN's Jeff Zeleny and also CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig. Ellie, your reaction?
Well, Jake, this is going to have major consequences for the 2026 midterms. As the justices appear to acknowledge, this means Texas will get to use its revised map, the new map that would give Republicans up to 5 more majority Republican districts. Now, that's also, it's important to understand, this is not just some procedural stay. Sometimes we see the Supreme Court say, we're just putting it on hold for now. The 6 conservatives in the majority here say Texas likely will ultimately win on this issue. And as Joan said, the disagreement here is this new map a racially based gerrymander? The 6 conservatives in the majority seem to say no, and the 3 liberals in a furious dissent, it's 17 of the 20 pages of this ruling, say, yes, this was a racial gerrymander. It should have been struck down. Let me just read you one thing that I think encapsulates it. This is from the very end of the dissent written by the liberal justices. They write, this court's decision today, guarantees that Texas's new map, with all its enhanced partisan advantage, will govern next year's elections for the House of Representatives. That result, as this court has pronounced year in and year out, is a violation of the Constitution. So you have your 6-3 split, conservatives on one side, liberals on the other, but Texas will get to use its changed pro-Republican map in 2026.
And Jeff, the Texas Democratic Party just issued a statement that says, in part, quote, the Supreme Court failed Texas voters today, and they failed American democracy. This is what the end of the Voting Rights Act looks like. Courts that won't protect minority communities, even when the evidence is staring them in the face, unquote. This ruling will have huge political ramifications across the country, not just in Texas.
It will. And Jake, the bottom line is this is the best news the White House has had, politically speaking, all week long, actually perhaps all month long. The reality here is this is going to allow what the White House has wanted from the very beginning, these redrawn maps to help Republicans get elected, to help ensure that House majority. What this ruling does not do, however, though, is affect these individual races. These races still have to be won. And this does not change the
True.
environment on the economy. This does not change the environment on what voters think of the Trump administration, local issues as well. So what this does is basically reverts back to what the thinking was all along, that the Republicans in Texas were going to have an edge here. Of course, that set off a nationwide, unprecedented series of redistricting rules. California, of course, is drawing it for the Democrats to have a democratically favored seats, if you will. So there is still very much an open question of these new districts here that have been drawn based on the Trump 2024 election alone. Are these truly as Republican-friendly districts as they were a year ago? We shall see about that. But
we shall see. We shall see. And as he mentioned, that California is doing redistricting. This situation right here can open up the floodgates. All right? It can. And I hope it does, because I like to see like sides doing what they need to do to win. All right? Democrats should do what they need to do to win. Republicans should do what they need to do to win. And then they should come up and say, hey, listen, this is my best candidate. All right? And now we can go and see who they have, who they're coming up with. All right? That's how I look at it. All right? But I also feel, and I'm going to end with this, that I think that we, the people, need to really fight to change the Constitution where we, Americans, can choose our Supreme Court justices. I feel that the way it should be is that Americans should be able to choose 7 of the 9 Supreme Court justices. And then every president that comes in, they can choose 2. So if you say, okay, boom, the president that comes in, they can choose 2. And then if they get reelected, they can't choose anymore because they already chose 2. So the people choose 7, which is the majority, and then you got the president that can choose 2. That's how it should be. That's just my opinion. Tell me in the comment section if you agree, if you disagree. How do you feel that it should be chosen? Because right now, having the president have that much power over the judicial system, because remember, it's supposed to be checks and balances. I'll give you a little bit of a civics lesson. You have the executive branch, legislative, and judicial, and you have the president have a lot of power over the judicial branch because he can now choose Supreme Court justice. I feel that shouldn't be. It should be given. The power should be given to the people, because back then, maybe we had many illiterate people back then when the Constitution was formed, but many of you are not illiterate. Many of you today are very smart, very intelligent, and you know that you can choose and do the right thing. But that's how I look at it. Tell me if you agree. Tell me if you disagree. I can't wait to hear from you. But my brothers and sisters, thank you so much. Really appreciate you watching, especially watching all the way to the end. Thank you. If you haven't already, please like the video, make some comments, and subscribe to this channel. All that good stuff will help us out continue to grow on this YouTube platform. Thank you for watching. Be safe. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Peace.